Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
In 1989, Jose Baer of EMI Latin Records, which is a brother company to Sony Latin Records, would be looking for a new voice and star to sign on. And as luck would have it, Selena would actually be performing at the 1989 Tiano Music Awards. A music award that she would actually win for Best Female Vocalist. Jose would quickly tell his company, his other producers, that he wanted to sign Selena on. But the other producers would tell Jose that he was being very illogical, as Selena was just a female singer in a music genre that was mostly dominated by men. But Jose was very adamant that he had found the next Gloria Estefan. And this would not be the only company that would want to give Selena a record deal. It said that Sony Records would also contact Selena and her father Abraham about a record deal, and they would be offering more money than what Jose Baer would be offering. But Abraham would be more faithful to Jose Baer's company, as it was more potential to do a crossover album, and that would mean more English albums for Selena to do, which would put a lot of her records in America. Selena would begin recording these English songs for the crossover in the album, and they would request for this crossover to be done. But unfortunately, they would actually deny this request, and would tell Selena that she needed a bigger fan base in order to do a crossover album. And they would explain why she needed a bigger fan base, and would add this as an insult to injury, which just makes you just... Their exact words, and I quote, that a Mexican-American woman did not have the potential to do a crossover album. Remind you that they said this about the very woman that was Female Vocalist of the Year for 9 consecutive years. Just throwing that out there. Selena would actually release her debut and self-titled album on October 17th, 1989. She would record most of these songs at Amen Studios in San Antonio, Texas. The song Sukiyaki and My Love would actually be recorded in Houston. Selena would actually write the song My Love, and the song Sukiyaki would just be a popular song that she would incorporate in her album that was made popular in Japan. In her musical career, she would make it very family-oriented, and she would actually make her brother A.B. her principal record producer, and he would actually write a lot of her songs for most of her career. And despite what people had told Jose Baer about Selena's gift as a singer, she would do exceptionally well. And it said that her debut album would do more exceptionally well than most Tiano female singers. And this would get the notice of another company, where the company Coca-Cola would want to have Selena sponsor them in Houston, Texas. And they would actually bring her in to do a couple jingles for the commercials. And the people that they would get to write the music for these jingles would be her brother and a guitarist by the name of Chris Perez. This would not be the first time that Selena was working with Chris Perez either, as several months prior to this, the band had actually added him in as a guitarist. Now, it's said that when Chris Perez would join the band and begin playing with him, he actually had a girlfriend in San Antonio, Texas. But Selena and Chris would have very adamant romantic feelings for each other. It may have been possible that while these romantic feelings were going on between Selena and Chris Perez having a girlfriend in San Antonio, he may have felt conflicted about infidelity, and would at first tell Selena that it might have been best if they put distance between themselves. But he would find that to be very impossible to do. It's said that Selena and Chris Perez would finally express their feelings for one another while getting something to eat at a Pizza Hut restaurant. This is back when at a Pizza Hut restaurant you could actually sit down in a diner and actually eat. They would actually decide to begin a relationship at this date, and after this date they would also decide that they would keep their relationship a secret, because they also feared that if Selena's father Abraham had found out about the relationship, he would quickly try to end the relationship as soon as possible. In 1990, Selena would release 3 singles, one of them being Tiana Kumbaya. I apologize if I'm mispronouncing it. And this would actually be one of her most successful singles. And this single itself would sell about 150,000 units. And by this time, Selena's popularity was quickly growing. And at one of these shows, it would grab the attention of a fan and registered nurse, Yolanda Salvador. And Yolanda would become completely obsessed with Selena. And it's said that after seeing her perform, she would actually contact Selena's father, Abraham, and would inquire Abraham if he did not mind if she would start a Selena fan club. And Abraham, feeling like this fan club would actually gain more followers and fans for Selena, he would actually agree to this, which probably may be something that he regrets to this day. As after she would make this fan club, she would be very successful, and she would start slowly start becoming more involved, not only with the fan club, but with Abraham and the rest of the family, and quickly start befriending Selena. And it would get to the point that she was so involved with Selena that it got to the point that you couldn't even speak to Selena without Yolanda. And it said that Yolanda would be extremely possessive and controlling of Selena, to the point that if she didn't like you, you weren't talking to Selena. And by 1991, Selena and Chris Perez really couldn't hide a lot of their relationship, especially on one particular evening when Selena's sister Suzette would actually catch Selena and Chris Perez flirting with each other. And she would quickly run and tell her father, Abraham. And Abraham was completely against the idea of them flirting with each other. He would quickly kick Chris Perez off the bus and tell him that his relationship with Selena was completely over. But this would not stop Selena or Chris from seeing each other, and would actually continue their relationship despite Abraham's disapproval. It is said, however, that Marcella, Selena's mother, approved of their relationship. But this would not be the only altercation between Abraham and Selena when it came to Chris Perez's relationship with her. There was one particular afternoon where Abraham would actually witness Selena being very romantic with Chris Perez. And it's said that Abraham would have some choice words with Chris Perez and would say that if you don't end the relationship with Selena, I'm going to disband the entire group. And he would refer to Chris Perez as a cancer in his family. To which a very intense verbal altercation would happen between Selena and her father. And it's around this time that Abraham would actually fire Chris Perez from the musical group. But again, this would not stop Selena or Chris Perez from continuing their relationship. As after he was fired from the group, Selena would come up with a plan that if her and Chris Perez would elope, then her father would essentially bring him back into the band, because at that point, he would actually be family. But this did not have the effect that Selena was hoping for. And it's said that when Abraham had found out about Selena and Chris getting eloped, he would be absolutely infuriated, to the point that they would actually be on non-speaking terms. This marriage would actually happen on April 2nd, 1992, and of course, with Selena being a celebrity at this point, the entire media would be covering the entire thing. The family would actually try to find Selena, and this is where Abraham would completely alienate himself from Selena. They would interview Abraham, and he would call Chris Perez a machista, or a male chauvinist, and would say that his biggest fear was that Chris Perez, now that he was her husband, would try to force Selena to end her musical career. Which, if you personally ask me, when Selena got signed on, the only thing Abraham saw or was concerned about was dollar signs.